What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Sweat It Out podcast. Today we have a special guest. He's an amazing individual. He is a true mentor, coach. This guy's a CEO. He's an entrepreneur. I don't even know what else to say. I've been following him for a long time now, and I'm truly inspired by his work and what he pushes out every day on social media. Guys, please help me welcome Sam Bakhtiar. How's it going, brother?
Thank you so much for that great introduction, and Josh and Anthony.
He's the ultimate hype man over here.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you guys, man, and I'm looking forward to being on your show. And once again, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this, so I'm excited.
Especially, seeing everything you're doing, man. Like, now that I've been following for about almost 2 years now, and you've for sure have had an influence in my life, and just seeing your content resonates with me and the impact that you do for others and the way you deliver your messaging and what you're all about, it's definitely what I'm all about. And I was like, man, I would love to connect with Sam one day. And I've always said that. And the fact that we're on here is amazing.
Thank you.
Of course, man. So just to start off things right, man, like I would love to dive in, especially during times like this, that we obviously know have been rough for certain individuals and have experienced certain losses and things. But I think at the same time, we could say there has been a lot of gains for certain individuals as well in other areas, in many areas, especially those who have taken advantage of really honed in. I wanted to ask you, you being a high performer, top level entrepreneur, you've done it all. You've experienced, traumas. You've experienced, coming into this country, and I've seen your content. To be where you are today is not easy, especially, starting where you came from. And I want to know, like, which we'll dive into that, but I want to know, with this situation that we're going on today, how have you approached it? What changes have you made? And what do you continue to do that is the same to get past these rough times?
Well, every time, first of all, I want you guys to understand, I want your listeners to understand this. Life has its seasons, right? Life has its seasons. You have the springtime, you have the summertime, you have the fall, and you have the wintertime. And, when things are good, you have to always remember they're not always going to be good. And when things are bad, they're not always going to be bad. So with the situation we have right now, I'm assuming you're talking about COVID-19, this is another winter time for you to kind of reflect, and look at your plan, see what's working, see what's not working, what can be done better, and adjust and pivot and move on. The same thing that we did with recession, we did the same thing. God does that cyclically for you to be able to reflect. And I don't know about you, but I've learned so much more about myself during this pandemic.
100%.
I've learned so much about what's more important to me and what's not so important. And overall, I have become such a better person because of it. I know you guys both work out and you guys both are gym buffs, and one of my coaches back in the day, because, most people think that, okay, if you want to build muscle, you lift heavy. And if you want to burn fat, and get ready for a show, you lift lighter. And my coach told me, Sam, whatever put the muscle there is going to keep the muscle there.
I like that.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying that is because whatever worked, do more of it. Whatever doesn't work, reassess, realign, and pivot. And sometimes when things are so good, we know what's working, but we don't really pay attention to what's not working. And we keep doing the same crap over and over again, even if it's not working, because what's working is getting us through, right? But when all of a sudden what's working is not enough to get us through, then we got to really start looking at everything under the microscope and make sure that things are not working, either get rid of it or adjust it. And this is the time that we do that.
It's tough for people to, look upon themselves and look upon the systems that they're, utilizing and the behaviors and habits that they take on day to day and have those tough conversations. So with that being said, how do you have those tough conversations with yourself, and be brutally honest?
I mean, like I'll tell you this right now, our gyms are shut down. So what we did, we adjusted, we took it outside as much as we could. Now we took it outside. The fires are everywhere. We can't breathe outside.
It's crazy.
But we're doing the best that we can. We started doing some online things. We started some online coaching, but still it's not bringing the same revenue as it was before. So when it's not bringing the same revenues as before, then now you start looking at, okay, what expenses are warranted, what expenses are not warranted, be able to time out on the budget and all that kind of stuff. And thank God, me personally, I learned from the last recession, because the last recession, I wasn't ready for it. I never went through anything. So I learned to always be winter proof, to be able to have extra money, have a house that's paid off, have everything paid off that I need to be. But even right now, things are uncertain. We got the COVID that's uncertain. We get the fires that are uncertain. We don't know how many of our clients are going to come back. We don't, with the election, we don't know which way it's going to go. And eventually, people are right now living off of stimulus money, and businesses are living off of the, PPP loans and the disaster loans. Sooner or later, that's going to run out, right? Mm-hmm. So, I see uncertainty in the future, So you guys are seeing me as, oh, well, Sam, the guy who has all this money, that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I do pretty well. But I even self-assessed during this time, and I said, wait a second, do I need 2 exotic cars? I don't need it right now. I have 3 children. I barely ever drive them. I'm always in my SUV or my truck. And I don't drive anywhere, dude. Like, my office is 1 mile down the road. The gym is 1 mile this way. I have everything in the house. I literally drive like 2 miles a day. Do I need $500,000 in a garage? No. So I just, put them both up for sale. I sold one of them. The other one is going to sell as well. So people sometimes get attached to a thing or identity, and you can't be, oh, well, Sam, the guy who drove a Ferrari, just I know it's a Lamborghini. I'm Sam, and I can adjust whoever I am for the time. I'd rather right now keep that money and be ready for a huge recession, a huge downturn, so I can capitalize that on that money than, oh, well, having a car in the garage and for my ego. You know what I mean? And I want you to understand, the first time during the first recession, I was too egotistical. I was like, oh my God, this recession, it's not going to be able to mess me up. It's not going to be mess me up. No, it'll mess me up. Let me tell you. You know what I mean?
No, 100%, man. I think the fact that you brought that up is going to really hit home run for a lot of people because, at least I know, being here in Miami, and Josh can attest for that, living on the beach, it's flashy, it's flashy. And a lot of people want to hold on to that flashiness just to give that perception or impress other people. And it's just like, dude, so there is times where you got to be smart. And this is awesome because, even then, like I've been looking at things, I'm like, do I really need all this? Do I need these certain things? Can I live without this? Yeah, of course, during these times. And you know what, if I do, I'll actually be able to capitalize later on, like you said, and then have that smart advantage.
Anthony, the key to that is doing it even though you're not going through anything.
Mm-hmm.
The key in life.
Love that.
Right before, the wealthy people are like this all the time. That's why they're wealthy. You know what I mean? Some of my wealthiest friends, they look at every penny and every expense if it's needed or not, right? I'm talking about wealthy people that can do anything. The people who don't have money, they have to flash. It's kind of like, they're trying to show you the why. You know what I mean? I was that pre-2008. During
I've been there.
I was that. When I started first making money, I come from a real poor town where you make $2,000 a month, you're balling, right?
Same.
And then, when I started making, 10, 20, 30 grand a month, you couldn't tell me anything. At that time, I thought 20, 30 grand a month was the ultimate. I had this and I would go to clubs, get bottle service, spend thousands of dollars to impress people that I don't even like and don't even know.
Sounds pretty good. No, I'm kidding.
Josh, you still do that?
No, I see it. I see it all the time down here.
I've been in Miami, bro. I've been a couple clubs in Miami. I dropped a pretty penny in Miami before. I dropped like 30 grand one weekend. I've done all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Live 11, which
shout out to 11. Shout out to 11.
Hey. Yeah, I've been there quite a few times, unfortunately.
So at some point, man, you got to be laser focused on what your end goal you want it to be.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you guys, this: the sooner you stop caring about what other people think of you, the freer you are. We all come We have all our ancestors. Everybody came to the United States so that we can be free. But are you really fucking free if you're thinking about what other people think about you? Really? You're not free because you're making moves based on other people, not making moves because what you want to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And the sooner you realize that, the moment I realized that I don't give a F what people think about me, how do people see me, is the moment I was liberated. You know what I mean?
100%.
You know,
Yeah.
and I literally, I walk around with a t-shirt, shorts, and a flip-flop that I have on right now. I don't care. And I have 300 pairs of shoes. Some of my shoes are like, 5 figures. You know what I mean? But I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't need to wear a Rolex every day and walk around. I can just wear my
Apple Watch looks nice.
Yep.
Well, and Rolex don't tell me how many calories I burn. So
Yeah. No, I mean, we, like Mendes said, we see it all the time down here, and it's honestly disheartening at times because it's just like, you don't, like you were kind of, mentioning, you don't need to do those things to show your value. You show your value through caring for people, for, going above and beyond, even when people aren't asking for help. If you know that they need help and you can see that, go out and help them, take, and just like you were saying with money, right? Like we talk about it with our clients, you have to be proactive with things. Like if you're hurt, you need to be proactive with your rehab. You need to be proactive with your prehab so that you don't get hurt. Same thing with your money. Same thing with how you treat other people. You have to go out and take care of the things that you have to take care of every single day, no matter what. And I don't think enough people understand that anymore. They just want free handouts.
I mean, right before I got on a podcast with you guys, I called my tanning place. I'm like, hey man, I'm not going to be using it till March, so I don't need to pay the $60 a month or whatever it was. $60 a month. Usually nobody, like, you know what, bro? Oh, that if you Warren Buffett said, if you don't respect $5, you don't respect $5 million.
Amen.
You know what I mean? And that's the mentality I have right now. And 10 years ago, 15 years ago, $60, who cares? I might use it. I don't know. I mean, so
yeah, no, the ROI has to be there, at the end of the day.
100%, man. And I think this is going to be so valuable to a lot of individuals out there who can start actually seeing, okay, well, you know what? I can come back on this Netflix subscription if I need to. I can cut back over here. I can cut back over there. Next, you're saving an extra $100 to $200 a month that could be used for something more important for your family during these times, to pay the bills or capitalize later on. And I think it's just like you said, if you do start with the small little things and you work step by step, you will appreciate long-term the bigger stuff, and you will appreciate those little steps that you took, because then you'll see things come into fruition.
Yeah.
I want to go into a little bit, and I know, you being in health and fitness, and you were mentioning the gyms and all that stuff. Like, what is the biggest thing that you're doing right now? Being an owner, being a CEO, running these companies, what is your biggest advice for other owners, other CEOs, people in the health and fitness space? What is your biggest advice for them and that approach, and how to protect themselves as well?
Well, the biggest, as a CEO, as a leader, as an officer to any company, do you ever see President Trump get on the mic and said, you know what, things are fucked up. Everybody's going to die. This COVID-19 is messing everything up, and this and that. He never talks like that. What he says, he's always portraying hope. As a leader, as any leader, as any president, as a CEO, your job is to always convey hope. It's always, you can be dying on the inside. You can be worried. I mean, you can be scared, but that, you got to get in front of your people and put your face on and portray hope, portray the future, cast your vision, come up with an action plan, and put in the best face for your people so they can perform. Nobody wants a president and be like, oh my God, I don't know what we're going to do. You know what I mean?
That's absolutely right, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That'd be horrible.
Yeah.
That'd be horrible. I'd leave immediately.
You know what I mean? So that's what you want to do, as far as that's concerned. And then next thing the next best thing is, once you cast your vision, cast hope, come up with a very definite action plan.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to do X, Y, and Z, here's how we're going to move forward. And yes, if we do X, Y, and Z, then we're going to be able to, build this thing back up. What does Trump say? Now I'm not a pro Trump or pro anything. I'm pro somebody who portrays hope. President comes and says, you know what? We had the greatest economy before this, and we're going to do it again.
Boom.
He doesn't say, whether he believes or not. He doesn't come say, oh, well, we had a great economy. It just went to shit. I don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's something about getting behind someone who has that message that you can rally on, that can get you up every day and get you doing the things that you want to do. So how do you convey that to people? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but how do you convey that to people, to the people that work for you, to the people that you work with, like that, listen, no matter what happens, I got this. I know, or I'm going to figure out, or I'm going to help our team figure out the way to get through this situation that we're going to face.
Being as transparent as possible, being vulnerable, and get people to believe you. You get people to buy into you. The way people buy into you, by you show them your vulnerability, being as transparent as you can possibly be. Show that you're just one of them. You're gonna get in there and work with them and get your hands dirty.
I think one of the biggest takeaways too is, with leadership, you see a lot of people who say, leadership and, I am a leader or being a leader, and yet they don't want to get their hands dirty with the pack, and they don't want to go through that grit of pulling them through and showing them how to do it. They just want them to do it. Mm-hmm. And obviously, you see the differences in those who actually show how to lead, then just point the finger, say, go do this. And I think that's a huge thing right there, because I think that during these times, especially, I think that's important to, as a leader, to understand that, you need to be able to show up yourself, and you need to pull your pack through these times and educate them and be there with them and literally do the same work they're doing to get them out of that mess and get yourself out of that mess and really push through and inspire them. So, 100%, man. Like, I think this is amazing because, me and Josh talk about this all the time. We need more of this. And I love this because we can get a different take on different amazing leaders and successful individuals like yourself. And when I mean success, is success on all levels, and that's what I say, success, because some people say like, oh, but financially you're this. No, it's success on all levels. Like, just the knowledge you're bringing on, the advice, the information, to hear this from individuals like yourselves, it really does hit home run for a lot of people. It hit home run for me, definitely. And I really, really appreciate that.
Well, I think back to, your point too, Anthony. If you expect, or people expect you to be able to bring them out of their darkest days, with their occupation, with the things that they're going on with life, how to manage all of that together. You were mentioning 3 kids, like how do you manage having 3 kids and still running a business and being able to do all the things that you have to do as the taskmaster of the business? How are you supposed to teach people how to do that and get through those times if you've never been through times like that yourself? Yep. You have to go through that turmoil. You have to go through those mistakes in order to be able to show people the way to do things. If you can't do that, nothing's going to be successful.
My son, his favorite cartoon is Secret Life of Pets. And I don't know if you guys watch it. It's an amazing cartoon. I probably watched it 144 times. Because he likes to watch. Kids are.
That's
awesome.
The movie, right? The movie.
Yeah.
I know they have number 1 and 2.
Yes, right.
I've seen it.
His favorite one is the second one. He literally watches it twice a day, and I literally have every single sentence, memorized. But at the end, they talk about you have a choice in life. You can either run away from life or run at it. And that's a quote by Secret Life of Pets by Max the dog. What I mean? And when I heard it for the 144th time, I'm like, that's so true.
Yeah.
You can hide away from life and or run at it. And my approach has always been, man, I'm gonna run at it. I'm gonna face the music. I'm gonna face the obstacle, and I'm gonna have less anxiety facing the obstacle than running from it. So you're always gonna pick the thing that's gonna give you less pain. For some people, running away from the problem is less pain because they don't want to deal with it. But sooner or later, and if they're not going to deal with it, that problem becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's going to drown them. Me, if I see a problem, I'm going to say, I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to check it off. No matter how hard it is right now, I'm going to deal with it. Check it off my list. I dealt with it. To the side. Who's next?
Yeah.
For sure. And that's awesome that you said that, because I wanted to ask you, understand that we're all human at the end of the day, whether, certain level of success being here or there, we're all human, and we're all going to deal with turmoil, trauma, downtimes, negativity. Hey, it happens. Obviously, certain individuals know how to flip that switch faster than others. I wanted to ask you, what are some of the habits, what are some of the tools that you use to get yourself out of any downtimes, any negative times, to get you out of those ruts? What are those tools? What does your daily habits look like? And what are the core 3 for you that you feel too that can be a big contributor for other coaches or other business owners out there, other individuals, for them to be able to start bringing their life into fruition on a higher level?
That's such a good question, man. I could go on and on about it, but let me just give you like the gist.
Feel free to.
Oh,
Feel
yeah.
free to go on and on.
Go on.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear this.
So for me, life is going to knock you down. That's a given. Nobody goes through life, standing up the whole time. You're going to get punched in the face. That's going to knock you down, right? And when life knocks you down, you really have 2 choices. One is to stay down, and one to get back up no matter what. If you stay down, it's guaranteed that you're down and you're out, you're done. Okay? You stay back up, at least you have a fighting chance. You have a fighting chance. And it's just like fighting MMA, boxing, whatever. You at least have a fighting chance, right? No matter how hard you get knocked down, all you have to do is get back up. Now,
shout out to Rocky Balboa.
Yeah. And whenever I get knocked down, I've gotten knocked down so many times that I've built what I call mental calluses, right? You see these, we got all this, we all work out, right? These are calluses. Yep. We put heavy weights over the years. We got these nasty calluses that rip.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love them. Character builders.
Cool. It's not cool when you're like trying to, pet your wife or something.
No. Yeah.
Like sandpaper.
Yeah.
But when you build mental calluses, it's like the boxer you see in the ring getting punched straight in the jaw and straight in the face. What they do, when you see a boxer that get hit clean, if he's a seasoned vet, what he does, he just smiles and nods his head to the opponent, say, "You got a good one, man. That was a good one." But he didn't do that the first time. The first time he got punched, he cried. But because he's back punched so many times and he recognized that was a good shot, he's like, "Okay, I know your best shot now. Now I'm going to figure out how to counter you. So you got to be good, but I'm going to figure out how to counter you." And that's what life is all about, right? So whenever I'm down, I'm looking at the obstacle. I'm like, okay, obstacle is not in the way. Obstacle is the way. And once I figure out how I'm going to get through the obstacle, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to come out better as a result. All my life, if you go back to being born in Iran, being divorced, being bankrupt, being my house foreclosure, recession, everything that happened made me a better person, and I came out better at the other end. And this is going to be no different. Every time I go down, I'm going to ask myself, what are all the things that's going right in my life? Wait a second, I got my hands.
Yep.
Oh my God, I can breathe. Oh my God, I got food in the refrigerator. Oh God, I got people who love me. Because matter of fact, a lot of people, no matter what you're going through in life, a lot of people will love to be who you are and trade you places. I don't care what you're going through. So always be grateful. Always understand what are the things that are going right in your life. And then once you do that, put an action plan together and get up and execute. And then it's not going to happen over time. From 2008 to 2014, when the recession hit and I almost lost everything, I put an action plan together. I got up every morning for 6 years, come back home with an L. Lost every single day. But guess what? One day,
that's it.
I hit a home run.
Failure's feedback.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's something about going through that constant adversity that does bring a greater sense of gratitude and allows you to be more humble, right? Which opens up a lot of clarity in your life about these situations that you should be grateful or more grateful for, right? And that allows you to be more actionable because you now have you now become more accountable, right? For those actions, you know, and you understand the weight of those actions and how they affect not only yourself, but the people around you and the environment that you create for the people around you.
Adversity breeds character.
All day, all day. And I think it's just, once again, man, it's important because being and I say it again, being in these times, I just wish more people would take advantage of the time given, you know. And once again, I'm not disregarding a lot of people who did have losses, and it is hard for certain people, but at the same time, you know, you can turn those hardships into victories if you hone in, you really focus on the things you need to focus on, learn a new skill. You know, if you want to spend more time with your family, because that's been important, spend some time with your family. If you've been wanting to work on a business because you've been wanting to work on your business, you know, self-realization, like you said, you've realized a lot of things for yourself. You've worked on yourself. I think it's super important. I think at the same time, it's been a blessing in disguise in a way to be able to say, you know what, I have all this time that I didn't have before, even though if things were going good for you, and even if they continue, but you didn't have that time to work on these other amazing things that you've wanted to and you've been putting off for so long, you know. And I just wish more people took advantage of that, because I know later on you're going to hear those people like, man, remember during that recession 10 years ago? Oh man, I wish I took advantage of that. Oh, I wish I did this. I wish I did that, you know? And I was like, I told myself like, nah, I was like, I'm not going to be one of those.
No, no.
And that is I think that's you know, very powerful. It's very attractive to be around those types of people, right? Like I love being around him for that exact reason. Like I know not only can I count on him to get the things done that I need him to get done, but I know he's going to go a step above that. He's going to exceed my expectations 100% of the time because he cares about the things that he's doing.
And you know what? He's not doing it for you. He's doing it for himself.
100%.
I mean, people like him are not doing it because they want to please you. They're doing it because they want to please themselves, because they want to know that everything they do, they're going to do their best at it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, and there's nothing in the world better than you knowing that you always give your best at everything you've done. You know, and you know that, and that's the kind of person you are, brother.
I appreciate that. And it's like I always say, man, like if you don't, and I bring it up multiple times, if you don't work on yourself first and you don't become the best version of yourself first, how can you be selfless for others?
Yeah.
You know, how can you now give to others if you can't even give to yourself and be the best version of you? You know, and I do believe that. I do strongly believe that. And you know, we talk about it all the time, you know, being the best versions of ourselves, telling, you know, our clients, telling people we work with, you got to be the best version of yourself so you can show up every day for your family, for your friends, you know, for others, for your business, for your, you know, your team, you know, whatever it is, you know, you got to be you first. Because if you're always the one just giving, never putting time for you, then, you know, you're going to crumble. You're going to crumble. You're never going to be happy. You're never going to attain the things you want. And you know what? It's actually going to be worse with the people you are interacting with, because you're not going to give them your best. You're going to always be upset, in a bad mood, stressed out, anxiety, you know, and now everything becomes a circle of crap. And I was just like, you know, and I've experienced it, and I'm sure, you know, yeah, we still experience stuff. But I'm telling you, way back then, I told myself, I was like, I don't want to experience it anymore, you know.
Yeah.
Dude, it's really mind-boggling, but it's just this moment of COVID has really made me open up my eyes completely different in so many avenues. I want to ask you, man, you know, you doing what you do today, you doing what you've done before, what has been the biggest takeaway for you personally in yourself, out of this whole situation? What has been the biggest takeaway for you learning lesson wise?
So take nothing for granted. I mean, bro, like I just, you know, been going to one of my friend's gyms that he has opened. And I'm going like this. I'm like, wait a second. I'm actually working out with some people around. This is so cool.
Yeah, it's weird, right? It's a different feeling. I haven't felt it in a while.
I'm like, I've been working out by myself, which I don't mind. But now it's like being around some people when, you know, lifting, talking, you know, being in an environment.
Yeah, I miss that energy.
Speaking of working out, I've actually switched up, and I was like, the other day I was like, I'm gonna work out in my daughter's room just because I want a different environment.
Just going to a restaurant that we take for granted. All the little things that we took granted. Kind of God showed us that, man, nothing is given. Nothing is given, and now I don't take anything for granted.
Yeah, it's a again, right? It's a very powerful thing when you can have that perspective of understanding how finite the experiences we have really are.
Yes.
We tend to lose, especially when there's so much stuff to distract us day to day, right? It can be very easy to lose sight of,
Right.
How instantaneously we can lose things, how completely or how quickly, things can shift in a complete 180-degree direction.
And this is a pandemic. Imagine something going on with your health. Imagine all of a sudden, you have severe health issues. How devastating that could be. So live your life every day. Be a good person. Go out there and become the best person you can be, and take nothing for granted, because tomorrow is not promised. Forget about tomorrow. Next hour is not promised.
Yep. Health is number one. I say it out. Coming from health and fitness backgrounds, we're always going to say health is number one. It's true, man. Like, without health, good health, there's nothing, again, that's making the best version of yourself. And that's another thing. I wish that during these times, there was more talk about getting healthier, pushing health, pushing working out, pushing nutrition, pushing sleep, pushing stress management.
Yeah.
Well, did you see the report? It said the number one underlying cause of people dying with COVID-19 is obesity.
It was like 94% of people had at least like one underlying condition, like
and
lifestyle
modification. The number one.
It's insane.
Yeah. I just saw that a week ago, and I thought maybe it was diabetes or heart issues or lung issues, but obesity was the number one.
Right.
I think we're like,
well, think about all the things, all the health problems that come from obesity, right? Heart issues, vascularity issues, breathing problems, irregular sleep, which leads to irregular recovery. You're more sedentary, your mindset is shifted.
If it was any virus that was going to, kill Americans, it would be COVID-19, because we're the fattest nation by far.
Not even close.
Stupid crazy.
By far, and so it's mind-boggling. No wonder we have the highest death rates of any country, because we're the fattest.
Yeah. It's frustrating. And not one thing talking about again, right? Being proactive with the things that you're doing in your life, like understanding that you cannot have your cake and eat it too, right? At least not every damn day. Like, you can enjoy your life, like you were saying, but along with enjoying your life and enjoying the benefits that, the 21st century really has available to us, we've lost sense of that delayed gratification that our ancestors were forced to deal with, right? You were talking about the cold, in wintertime. I come from upstate New York. It's cold 9 months out of the year, So we appreciate 65-degree weather way more than, I know a lot of people down here in Miami do, where they're like 65, I better put a North Face jacket on and like stay inside. It's like, are you kidding me? I'm out doing things. I want, like where I come from, can't even open your door and get outside for half the year.
Yeah. I know exactly.
And I think one of the most important things too is just like health related stuff is like everybody wants to slap a Band-Aid on shit. And I think it's just like people need to realize that that's not the cure. That's not the answer for anything in your life. Whatever health issue you're facing, it's not doing more of Band-Aids and slapping those Band-Aids on, but it's actually put in the freaking work. Go move your ass, get up, go walk, go run, go live, go move your body, go eat better, sleep better. And it's just like, it's an easy way out. And I think that's another thing too. It's just like, the more we go through technology and, and advancements, great. There's a lot of plus side, But I think that at the same time, there is downside where a lot of people are getting that instant gratification, that instant message, that instant this, the instant delivery, the instant that.
Or they're not,
you
and
know,
they think they should.
or they not exactly, and it's just like they want the instant results, and then you get a lot of the, I'm not saying everybody, but you get lazier individuals who are just like, okay, though, I'm going to do the same thing for my health because I'm not getting the instant results I want. I'm going to slap a Band-Aid on it. I'm just going to, you know what? I'm just going to take all this stuff because, you know what? I don't want to put in that work. I don't want to do that. And I think that's just like, it's sad, man, but it's what it's come to. And I think like a lot of the issues that are going on now, I think a lot of people could have prevented it themselves if they took initiative a few years ago to work on their health from the beginning.
How do you portray that to the people that are members at your gym, to the staff that, you have working for you? You want them to be healthy. You're very healthy yourself, right? It's a message that you do such a great job of getting across to people. What are some of the big things that you've seen that have led to some issues for a lot of people, right? Either mentally, physically, whatever it may be, economically. And what are some pieces of advice that you gave them to help get them out of those struggles?
I think the most important thing, rather than telling them, I like to show them. I would say lead by example. I can tell my daughter a million times to do something, but if I just do it and have them observe, they learn a lot better. So lead from the front, lead by example, and kind of set expectation. Raise your standards. When you raise your standard as a leader, as somebody, as CEO, everybody else is going to raise their standard. It's not up to anybody to raise their standards than the CEO and the leader of the company. And in business and in life, you get what you tolerate. You know what I mean? And if you tolerate low standards, you tolerate, low things, and that's what you're going to get. But if you set the standards, you live the standard, and you live and breathe the standard, then everybody else is going to follow. There's a quote that it said, when two men, and I have to leave here in a few minutes. There's a quote that said that when two men walk with each other, something inherently happens, whether they like it or not. Somebody needs to adjust to somebody's speed. No two men walk exactly the same pace. So if you're walking with someone, somebody needs to adjust their speed. So are you going to slow down or let somebody slow you down, or are you going to speed up? And I don't know about you, I'm not slowing down for anyone.
No, right. Definitely not us.
Here. It's like I always tell people, it's just like the world doesn't care about you and it's going to keep on moving. So why are you going to stop for the world?
People have to realize, man, we live on a rock that's spinning around the earth so many miles an hour. I mean, do you understand that? I mean, for example, trip on that for a second. Trip on that for a second, man. Before you go any further in life and wonder things. We're spinning, around the sun at the speeds that we're going to boggle your mind, right? Come on, man. Come on.
Truly insane, man. Sam, it's been a pleasure, and I really appreciate you coming on here. And
it means a lot to us. Thank you.
It really does, and for our viewers, our audience, they're gonna truly appreciate it. Before we wrap things up, I know I want to ask you two questions. Maybe Josh as well, but I want to give you the time to be able to tell the audience where can they find you, where can they connect with you, and as well, if there's any new projects you're working on that you can share, please feel free.
You can connect me to any social media handle. You can go Google my name, and all my social media handles will come up. Sam Bakhtiar, that's Bakhtiar. Or you can text me directly at 909-200-4015. I have a community number. I really, want to take this time to honor you guys and appreciate you guys, and tell you guys how much I'm proud of you for doing this and putting great information out there, and also helping people through health and fitness, which we know that's the greatest way that somebody can develop wealth.
100%. Thank you, man. It means a lot to us coming from you. Thank you.
Definitely, man. I'll keep it short, and I know you got to go and on the run, but I want to end it with, what's the biggest piece of advice you can leave all our listeners off today in one sentence?
Proximity. One word. Do an inventory of who you hang around with. If they're not adding to your life, if they're not making you money, making you better, giving you knowledge, then, you know, I don't think they need to be around you. And if there's so many family members, not a big deal. You can love people from far, but you can't give them your bandwidth.
Yeah, I love it.
Great way to end.
I agree. I completely agree. Thank you, Sam.
Appreciate
We
the
really
love.
appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. God bless.
Yeah, until next time, guys.